Hey everybody. I feel really weird talking into a camera with nobody there, and I have no clue how to use live, so I'm gonna give this a shot. But I just wanted to do a quick video on a topic that does not like to get discussed a lot, and it gets kind of pushed aside as sometimes less than what it really is depression, anxiety, everything that goes along with it. A lot of you know it's something that I've suffered with a big part of my life. When I was younger, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what to call it. I just know that I'd get down in the dumps, didn't know why. There'd be sometimes weeks I'd lay on the couch, just couldn't move, couldn't do anything. I was talking to someone last night, and they were just feeling really low and just to a place where they just were ready to give up and didn't want to keep going. And I've been there. I can remember probably 2.5 years ago, I swallowed so many pills that I don't understand why I'm still here. And I can remember after I woke up and I came through that, I remember telling myself, there's some reason that God wants me here. I don't know what it is, but there's some reason. So when I had this phone call last night, I really got to thinking about sharing my experience. Maybe trying to help someone else who is struggling with the same thing and that may not know what it is or may not know how to get through each day. Depression is a sickness. It's not something that we just say, oh, I'm depressed, I've got anxiety, I'm down. It's a sickness. When someone suffers from severe depression, anxiety, bipolar, even OCD, it's a sickness. It's all a mental sickness. And for someone to admit and swallow the fact that, hey, I've got a mental issue, it's hard. It's hard to come to grips with, I suffer with a mental disease on almost a daily basis. So anyway, when I was talking to this person, when you get really, really depressed, you feel like when you get to a place where you don't want to live anymore, those around you who have never experienced it or have never seen someone else that's experienced it, never dealt with severe depression, severe anxiety, they don't understand. They look at you like you're being selfish. They look at you like you're being stupid. And honestly, those are some of the worst things you can ever say to someone who is severely depressed. And especially stupid. I can remember being called stupid and a lot of times someone who really, really, truly wants help with depression, they will open up and let someone know their feelings because they're crying for help. And the last thing that someone who is severely depressed and is wanting to not even be around anymore is the last thing they want to hear is you're being stupid. So what those around you, like I said, who've never experienced it, they don't know what true depression is. They don't know what it all entails. They don't get it. And so I'm here just to maybe help someone who has gotten to that place. It's very hard to speak to someone when you are wanting help and you are very depressed who doesn't understand. Because, like I said, their first reaction is going to be, don't be stupid. Don't do anything stupid. You're being stupid right now, or you're being selfish right now. What someone who is truly depressed needs is someone to love them and listen to them vent through it. Be there for them, a friend, a loved one, just all they want to feel, they just want to feel that someone cares. Because when you get to a place and you're at that final step where you just can't, you feel like you can't do it any longer, you feel like you can't keep going on, you get to a place where you feel like my family is better off without me. It's not the fact that in your mind you're being selfish, because in your mind you think you're doing your family a favor by leaving this world. And I understand someone who doesn't understand this and doesn't get depression. I understand they can't comprehend that. But from someone who does understand depression and anxiety, we get it. We get that feeling. We've been there. My family would be better off without me. And I had got 2.5 years ago, I got to that place where I felt like my kids, my husband, my whole family would be better without me. And I tried to take matters into my own hands, and I survived. So now, I have learned to talk through it a little better. I've done a lot of research and on depression and anxiety, and it's not something you can really teach yourself how to get through. It's something that you learn how to, as any other sickness, you learn how to keep going. You learn how to fight through it. You learn how to dig deep down and get your inner strength so that you can fight another day, another minute, another hour. And what I told this person last night is, it's not day by day, it's step by step. So you dig down and you find when you start feeling low and you start getting those horrible thoughts, because depression is a constant mind battle. That's where it comes from. Depression is all in the mind. It's, you are struggling on a daily basis, a weekly, some people are different. It's a mind battle, a constant. Sometimes with me, I feel like I become completely exhausted because all day, every day, I feel like I'm battling my mind. And instead of letting it defeat me, which sometimes it does, I try to learn how to just keep going, keep digging, keep finding strength. And somehow I keep finding new strength to get me through the next day, to get me to the next step. And that's all we need, is just to get through that next step. The best person you can talk to when you are feeling depressed or you're feeling anxiety is someone who has been there as well. Because we're not going to look at you and say you're being stupid or you're being ignorant or you're being selfish. We're going to know, we're going to love you through it. We're going to encourage you and tell you, you can go on. You can keep going. Go another step. Take another step. It's like when my kids were learning how to walk. It was step by step. It wasn't day by day. They learned how to run, taking step by step. And eventually the steps got a little easier. Eventually the steps got a little faster. And you learn how to deal with it without it killing you. And unfortunately, sometimes it does. The sickness will get the best of you. And it almost got the best of me. And my number one goal through everything that's happened in the past 2-3 years is to use my experience to help someone. That's it. Rejection is a major part that triggers my depression. I don't take rejection well. I was, rejected by a mother at a very, very young age who chose a man over her child. And that's one of the biggest rejections you can ever have. When your own mother doesn't want you, it can be one of the hardest pills to swallow. So through my life, I always battled with that. I never understood what forgiveness meant, because I felt like, why did I deserve to forgive those that had hurt me as a very, very small child? And finally, probably about 2 or 3 months ago, it clicked. I finally got what the forgiveness for me really stands for. Not the forgiveness for them, but what forgiveness for me stands for. And I'm almost 36 years old, and it was like a complete weight was lifted off my shoulder. I felt lighter, I felt free, and it's just something I can't describe. You have to kind of be there to understand. It's helped me deal with my depression easier, that I finally let that go, and I'm not holding on to the past. I'm not holding on to all the anger and the hurt and the resentment, from my past. So it's really helped me to just keep going and to make me feel lighter. But I still have my days. There's still days that I just want to crawl up in my bed and I don't want to speak to anybody. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to be a mom. I don't want responsibility. I just want to hide and just run away from everything, because my mind, I get tired. I get tired of fighting my mind. I get tired of constant battle. And that's what it is. It's a constant battle. And we can put on a smile. We can go to work. The person looking outside would never know the things and the mind games and battles that a person with true severe depression goes through. Anxiety. I can get into a large crowd and the store, and if it gets overcrowded, I have to leave. I get major anxiety, and I start sweating and shaking, and that's just something that I deal with. Sometimes panic attacks, they completely will take me over, and I have no control over it. You just never know. You never know when any of it's going to hit. But what's helped me is doing my research and hearing other people tell their stories, how they've dealt with things and how they've learned to learn when the triggers start. I've learned my triggers now, and I can kind of get it under control before it gets too bad. So that's all that's all it is. It's battling your mind. And so this is also for those who don't get depression, who don't understand it. This video is to maybe encourage you if you are with someone or you know someone who suffers with depression. And you can almost tell when something's not right, because you will eventually, when you get so low that you're at that last point where I'm done, I can't do it anymore, you'll be able to notice. There'll be signs. One of mine was I couldn't get off the couch for months, and I couldn't work. All I thought about was just dying. I didn't want to live anymore. I was a zombie. I was literally a walking zombie. I didn't care about eating. It was a sad 6-7 months of my life. It was. And I finally got to the place where I just didn't want to fight it anymore. I felt like a disappointment, because I was so sick. So if you know someone who is suffering with depression, anxiety, any of these, mental issues and sicknesses, try to have a little patience with them. Try to understand that kindness can get someone through depression better than anything. Kindness, love, understanding. The last thing you should ever tell someone who is depressed is you're being stupid or don't be dumb. That's the last thing you want to tell. And that's what was told to me, because those around me didn't get it. They didn't understand. I had one person who actually looked at me and said, I get it. I've been there. I understand what you're going through. And that one person was what started the process of bringing me out of those trenches, because I had one person tell me, I know where you've been. This is not your fault. This is a sickness. So like I said, the best thing to do if you know someone who's struggling with depression is just try to, let them vent. Let them, love them through it. And that's all you can do. But you always want to keep it positive. Don't ever throw blame. Don't ever point fingers at someone that's depressed. All they need is just some assurance, encouragement, and love to get to the next step. To go one more step. That's all it is, step by step. So, I would love to do some more research and maybe try to keep coming and doing some videos. I will try to figure out maybe live. But the more I've sat back and thought about it, it's so important. And you've got people giving up all over the place. You've got teenagers, you've got 11, 12-year-olds who are just giving up because nobody wants to talk about depression. Nobody wants to talk about mental illness. Parents don't want to look and admit, hey, my child has a mental disability because they're depressed. It's just not something that's commonly talked about. So I would like to be of any encouragement that I can. If one person gets help from this, it's worth it all. If one life is saved, it's worth it all. Like I said, I was left here for a reason. Still figuring that out. Sometimes I still don't understand. And there's still days that I wish I could just fly away, and I wish I wasn't here. But I'm learning how to cope. I'm learning how to deal with it, and I find every day a new strength, and I find that I can make it a little bit longer. So if anybody has any comments or questions or just someone to talk to, I'm on Messenger. I'll give, even if you need verbally someone to talk to, I'd be happy to give someone my number. But talk to someone before you take the last road. Talk to someone who understands, and just there's just always a better way out, and there's always someone there that will love you through it and would be willing to be there for you through your pain and through the suffering and everything. So it's a horrible sickness. And sometimes I almost, and I told this person last night, sometimes I would rather have a bad sickness versus battling my mind every day. It's so exhausting. Depression is just one of the toughest sicknesses you could ever have. And I'm not downplaying cancer or, anything like that. I'm just saying, when you're battling your mind on a daily basis, it's tough and it's exhausting. And it starts to overflow on those around you. And so not only does it affect them, but those around you have to understand patience. It takes a lot of patience to be with someone who suffers from depression. And one thing about depression is you never can time it. You can't schedule depression. You just never know when it's going to pop up. You might be perfectly fine 1 minute, and then 10 minutes later, you're in complete shambles. That's how it works. It doesn't have a timer on it. You can't put it on your calendar, I'm going to be depressed today, or I'm going to have anxiety today, I'm going to have panic attacks. It pops up on you when you sometimes least expect it. Sometimes it pops up on you when you're not ready. You think you can prepare for it, but you can't. You learn how to just keep going. And the best thing, my advice to give you, is find someone who is willing to listen. You're not stupid. You're not, for feeling the way you feel. A lot of bad things happen in this world. People go through rough things, And it's tough. When you've had a hard life and you've had to fight through life and you've had to fight through situations that you shouldn't have had to fight through, it's tough. It is. And I'm not going to downplay it, and depression is a tough thing to deal with. But like I said, I have Messenger. If anybody has any questions, if anybody wants to talk, if anybody knows someone who's just on that brink, help them. Don't downplay it like they want attention. Oh, they just want attention. They're threatening to kill themselves because they just want attention. And I was told that too. And how would that person feel if I would have taken, or how would anybody, if I would have taken all those pills and I would not have survived? How would that person have felt? So you've got to be very careful how you deal with and how you talk about depression, because your statements could send them completely over the edge. It really could. Just how you talk to someone could send them completely over the edge. So be very, very careful how you speak to someone who says, I don't want to live anymore. Because one little statement from you could be what sends them over. And then they're gone. Or they've done something that could mess them up. My situation, I think about it all the time. And I beat myself up. How could I do that? How could I try to leave my family? How could I do that to myself? I didn't realize what I was doing. I was in a complete different state of mind. I didn't get it. If I'd been in my normal right now state of mind, I would have never tried to do anything like that. But it's like you're a different person. You're not you. And so just, be careful. When you hear someone say, if I hear someone say, I don't want to live anymore, I never take it lightly. And I'm sure there are those who, it is maybe an attention thing. But sometimes it is an attention thing because the depression, someone who's depressed, they feel alone at all times. I could be standing in a room of 50 people and feel completely alone. That's one thing about depression. And so when you call out the attention card, it's almost accurate because you feel so alone. So, like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message or let me know. I hope everybody has a great day, and I hope this video wasn't too scattered or boring, because I'm not good at this. I do not like being on camera, and I will hopefully get to talk to you guys later. Bye.